Today's topic is understanding how your tomatoes grow. Look what we've got here. Beautiful cluster after cluster. We're growing tomatoes the way that they do in commercial greenhouses, but in our home setup. And we're getting the same results of these amazing clusters of fruit climbing up the vine one after another. Here's the third cluster, and there's the fourth coming in, and then there's the next set of flowers ready to get their fruit. Actually there's even one before it, number 5 and number 6. So we've got 6 clusters on the main vine going up to the sky, coming in nicely. These are early girl tomatoes. 1 cluster, 2 cluster, 3 cluster, 4 cluster, 5. Get the camera pointed. Where's that little sucker? He's in there. There he is. And 6. So, once the tomatoes on the bottom, that first cluster, are done, actually these we've already harvested a couple, so that was the first cluster of the year. This is the second cluster. And once those get done, what I do is let out the string up here. See, there's a spool up here, and I let that string down, and that's going to let the whole vine go down. And then I will make more space for the plant to continue growing up that way. And as more is let down on the bottom, I can begin to kind of coil that vine up and put it next to the plant. Doing the same thing over here on these Roma tomatoes. Boom, 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 boom. So the plant will just continue to extend that vine out more and more and more and more. And with the Roma tomatoes, they also grow these. All the tomatoes actually grow lots of side vines. And we're keeping those under check just by cutting them off. As the plant grows up, I'm cutting off the lower branches, which also start to show signs of disease and start to die off anyway. So you want to cut those lower branches off and let the tomato continue to grow taller and taller while you let the vine go down to the ground with those strings. So this is the way that you can grow 40, 50 foot tall tomatoes. The record I think is 90 feet, 80 some feet. And if you don't use the strings like this, you can just let them grow taller. That's what they do in greenhouses. They'll just let them grow really high up to high ceilings. Or you don't let them get that tall. The vines will start to kind of fold over onto themselves. So if you did another method like a post and then just one, like a fence across the post, say you just use a regular fence post like this and did a stringer across, then you could let the plants just kind of drape over that. And that's how they grow these Romas in Italy. And you would end up with something like this. You'd end up with the vines coming up and then draping over the top of the fence and dripping the tomatoes down. And that's an alternate way that you can let these indeterminate tomatoes grow and take their full viney shape. They don't just stand up in a pot like a normal plant. That would be a determinate variety, which is more of a bush. So when you're growing these vining indeterminate plants, you need to manage where the vines go, cut off the extra vines, focus on your main vines, and let the fruit grow up the vine like that. So that's how we do it, and that, I hope, is an explanation for people wondering just what to do with those tomato plants going wild. Well, you want to spend a little time every day and you will get lots and lots of tomatoes. That's just a fantastic harvest we're going to have this year. Look at all these beautiful tomatoes. Look how nice and big these Romas are. They're about the biggest Roma tomatoes I've ever seen. And the plants are just dripping with fruit. Really lots and lots of tomatoes coming in. So we're very happy about that they're setting nicely, and we're getting these big clusters of 6-8 tomatoes on each one. And I hope that your garden is also doing real well this summer.